Hi boys and girls, it's me, Artie, the art robot, and today we get to take a tour of your awesome art room. Now, when you first come into art, outside in the hallway, you can see we have our bulletin boards with important information and news about art. You always want to check those bulletin boards, and you even might get to see your amazing artwork displayed for the whole school. So that's where we want to make sure that we check before we come into the art room. The art room is room 125, and your awesome art teacher is Miss Wardley. And when you come into the art room, you want to make sure you come in quietly, but you can always check the Artist of the Month bulletin board. We get to celebrate the birthday of a famous artist every month, and we get to learn about their style of art, and maybe even use it in our own artwork. Next to that bulletin board is the Stop and Think table, where you need to go if you need a timeout or a cool off time. And we have our cubbies where we keep our laptops and iPads when we're not using them for digital art. Next to the cubbies is the pencil exchange. If your pencil breaks and you need a sharp one, you come over, get a sharp pencil, and put your broken one in the broken cup. Now, each table in the art room has a color, and in the middle of the table is a basket that we want to keep organized with pencils, scissors, and erasers. All of the other supplies that we'll be using will be handled by the materials managers. That's one of the jobs in the art room. So those pencils should be the only thing that you see in the middle of your table. The rules of the art room are posted on the front of the board. And there are 3 rules in art that are all about being respectful. We want to have fun in art, but we want to treat others the way we want to be treated, and we can't have fun if we can't be respectful. So that is the most important rule, and safety too. We also have our checklist for art. We want to be creative, neat, colorful, and complete in all of our artwork. We also get to use some cool apps this year like Artsonia and Edmodo and so many more. There are new jobs in the art room too. Each table has a different job this year. Red table are the material masters. We use so many different materials in art, and those material masters get to help take out the materials, keep them organized, and then put them away when cleanup time is over. We also have art captains, which is the purple table. These are the people that are in charge of taking out the folders, putting away the artwork, and reminding people where to put their artwork when it's cleanup time. After the art captains, we have the table monitors. Table monitors are kind of like the teacher's assistant because they are the ones that help people when they need to make sure their table's cleaned off. They also tell people when their table is finished, when they can line up, and they can even give people a stamp on their hand if they want to. We also have the floor cleaners who can sweep and check the floor, and the sink and table spongers. Now, right over next to the sink, there's a drawer that's marked sponges, and you can get out a sponge if you're one of the table washers or spongers, and you want to get it just barely wet and only 1 drop of soap. Once you squeeze out all the water, then you can wipe your table off so that it's not too wet for the next class. We don't want their artwork to get messy, no way. If you accidentally use a little too much water, it's okay. We have another drawer right next to the sponges with dry towels that you can use to dry off the table or floor. We don't want to spill water in the art room because it can be dangerous. Someone could slip and fall and hurt themselves. So when you're done with your towels and your sponges, make sure you put them right back where they belong next to the sink. Now, if you're a floor sweeper or if you're a floor helper, there are dustpans and brooms that you can use to help sweep the floor. The storage room is also where we keep your sketchbooks when we put them away after we practice drawing. It's really important that we put everything back where it belongs, and all the cabinets in the art room mostly are labeled. So we have a cabinet with markers, and there's a cabinet for the folders. This is where we keep our artwork. And we have drawers with markers, colored pencils. We want to make sure we keep these neat and put back in their correct places so that we can find the things that we need. So make sure when you put away your supplies, you put it away neatly so that it's much easier to find the things that we're looking for. Otherwise, it's going to take up all of our precious art time that we could be using to make beautiful, wonderful masterpieces. And we certainly don't want that. We have crayons, we have rulers and stencils, and like I said, we want to be respectful to all these supplies by taking care of them and making sure they last longer. We also have a drawer with paintbrushes. We have large paintbrushes, small paintbrushes. It depends on what you're painting. Now, there are 2 sinks in the art room. One sink is for washing hands, the other one is for washing out paintbrushes. We don't like to waste water, but it's really important to wash out your paintbrush correctly. You need to make sure you get all the paint out of your brush, and when you're finished washing out your brush, you need to let them dry upside down so that their hair or the bristles are facing up. So always make sure you wash out your paintbrush and wipe off the sink. The sink cleaners can help wipe off the sink. And make sure you take care of those brushes because then they'll last longer and your artwork will look so much better. We also have a drawer for watercolor paint. Now this drawer can get really messy, so So we want to put our paints back neatly and make sure that they're dry before you put them in the drawer. Whenever we're painting, we use placemats or newspaper, so you can get that out of the drawer when you're ready. And we like to use, when we use the thick paint, we use egg cartons to put the paint in. These are good not only for recycling, but you only pour a little bit of paint in, you can close the lid, and then you can reuse it over and over. So you want to put it back in the cabinet and let someone else use the paint so it doesn't go to waste. We also, whenever we're using clay, we have a drawer for clay tools, and we have lots of other things like tape and Q-tips and all kinds of things. In the art room, you can use any supplies you want as long as you ask permission, you take care of them, and you put them back where they belong when you're finished. In this cabinet, we have acrylic paint. That's the paint that can stain, so you want to be careful with that paint. We also have tempera paint. Someone put the acrylic paint in the tempera paint. We want to make sure we put everything back where it's supposed to go. There's also a cabinet with glue that has liquid glue, and we have glaze and slip when we're working with clay. Glaze is what we use to paint the clay, and slip is what we use to glue it together. Over here we have another kind of tempera paint called tempera cakes. These you have to get a cup of water, and you have to mix the paint with water for them to work. So whenever we get a water cup, we fill it up halfway, so in case it spills, it doesn't make a mess. And then you can get the correct size paintbrush. So if you're painting something small, you use a small paintbrush, and you can get a medium-sized paintbrush if you're painting something big. Then you can get your newspaper, and you can take all of your supplies over to your table, or the supply helpers can help you if you need help. Now, whenever you finish your painting, those paintings need to go on the drying rack, not in your folder, because if your painting is wet, it'll get stuck to the paper. So this year, each drying rack has a different grade level. So when you're finished with your artwork, make sure your name is on it, or when it's cleanup time, you want to make sure your name is on it and put it on the correct drying rack. Oh, stop! Is your name on that? That's what it says. Now, we also have a green screen in the art room because I love making movies and using the green screen in art. And we make movies all about our artwork too. We also have a kiln where we cook the clay, but only Miss Wardley is allowed in the kiln room because it can get really hot and something could get broken. Next to the kiln, we have our Mapping Good Behavior. This is our treasure map where you get to earn free art day. For every day your class comes to art and does a really good job cleaning up and lining up, you get to move your teacher's name one spot on the treasure map. And if you get to Treasure Island, you get to pick what kind of art project and art materials you get to use. So that is the tour of the art room. We want to keep our art room looking as neat and clean as it does today, because a neat art room is a safe art room and a fun place to be. Now, we also want to make sure we know where to put our trash, and we don't want to waste paper, so recycling bins are under the sink. Oh no, I almost forgot. Something really cool we get to do too this year when the weather is really nice. We can even do art outside in the art garden. So if you're following directions and your class is doing a really good job and it's a nice day, we can go outside and sit at the picnic tables and do our artwork outside. This year is going to be really cool because we're going to even have pumpkins. We have pumpkins in the art garden. We have flowers. We have all kinds of things growing that we can draw or use in our artwork. So I hope you enjoyed this tour of the art room. Take a good look at it now because it's super clean and you can do your part to help take care of it and keep it clean. When it's time to line up at the end of class, we're going to pick 2 people who did a really good job, and they get to pick 1 thing out of the treasure box for helping. We also have a hall pass if you have to use the restroom. You always raise your hand and ask permission. And I think we're going to have an awesome year in art. So good luck, and I can't wait to get started making our masterpieces.